It's interesting that this video came up just as I finished reading Seneca's On the Shortness of Human Life. It can be encapsulated, I guess, from the one famous line, "It's not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it." Seneca says that any sort of use of one's time that is not living for oneself is essentially a waste of one's time, worrying too much about what other people think or do, or attempting to manipulate them to one's own advantage, or even not even manipulate them, but live off them. And that, I guess in this sense he agrees with Socrates, that the only sensible thing to do with one's life is to examine it. The only sensible way to spend one's time is to ponder the mysteries of existence, to engage in philosophy. The biggest waste is, of course, to worry about what other people are thinking and doing. It's not going to do you any good at the end of the day. And especially if you're of a philosophical bent, it's certainly not going to do you any good. You really don't have that much influence over what other people do, and if you worry too much about what they say, think, or do, they have too much influence over you. The only way, I think, that one can, in any sort of meaningful way, assist someone else in finding any sort of a truth out there is to tell them to keep thinking. There's no such thing as bad thinking. I can see how thinking can put you in a rut, into a bad state, but it's thinking that's the only way back out of that state. Once we've started to think, once we've bitten that apple that gives us the knowledge of good and evil, then there's really no way out. There's no way back into the Garden of Eden. But to keep thinking, but to keep pondering, examining everything. No one else can examine the world, life, existence, whatever, for you. You've got to do that for yourself. Worrying too much about other people's examinations is not only useless to them, but it's worse than useless to oneself. Find your own path. There is no other way. There's no other way out of the wilderness of confusion, or whatever you want to call it. There's no other way to engage in one's own personal journey than to engage in it. What other people doing is more or less irrelevant. In other words, I don't think that anyone can proselytize or give advice to another human being, ever. At least on the big issues. Thank you.